Hey everyone, welcome back to the range. Got another level 3A rigid panel to test today. This is from a new body armor manufacturer, at least one I haven't tested on the channel before. This is Veterans Manufacturing level 3A rigid panel. Let's throw it on the table and take a closer look. Veterans Manufacturing is out of Katy, Texas. This is a level 3A plus plate. There are some listed threats on the panel, up to 44 Magnum and 357 SIG, including special threats FN57 SS197 at 1700 feet per second and the SS195 28 grain JHP at 2050, 50 AE, large back face deformation, and 500 Smith & Wesson 500 grain, large back face deformation. We're going to run these against some of my specialty threats today, including some special 5.7 threats. I may be interested to know how this does against the 5.56 out of the 10.5 inch. Maybe pushing it. I do have some 9mm to test today as well. We'll come up with a couple different threats that we'll try this against. This body armor was purchased from bulletproofzone.com. I'll put their link in the description below. It worked out this time to purchase from a online retailer than direct from the manufacturer. Seems like they have a few of the major players for different types of body armor on there. So definitely check them out. We'll be at 10 to 12 feet. Pro Chrono digital as always. We have our clay briefcase that is nice and warm, so we're going to get a good representation of back face. I'll make sure I fill in the curve area here with some extra clay. This is a multi-curve plate. It doesn't have all those sexy curves like the Caddy armor does, but it's more than just a single curve. Since this is a level 3A plus panel, we'll start with our 5.7. Then we'll kind of mess around maybe with some 9mm, maybe some 5.56. It kind of would be interesting to see if it could stop some 55 grain full metal jacket, since the PE plates are really good at stopping velocity, hence why we're testing 5.7. We have some SS198, some Elite Ammunition T6B, and some Vanguard Outfitters Black Dragon Fang. The T6 and the Black Dragon Fang are a pre-fragmented projectile. The T6B is a harder copper, and the Black Dragon Fang is a softer. I think the T6B is on the high 50s or low 50s in the C scale, maybe 40s, and the Black Dragon Fang is in the B scale. Since Veterans Manufacturer does list the SS195 on the back panel, we'll test the SS198 LF first, then the Black Dragon Fang, then the T6B. They do want me to remind you or state in the video that the panels I'm testing are their civilian law enforcement models. They do offer plates for sale to government and federal entities that are not listed on their site. Hopefully we get a velocity reading. I won't chance it. Let me go move. Sorry about that. I had to change batteries in the camera. Now the Black Dragon Fang. I do have the slightly longer barrel on here from suppressor testing. Doesn't gain too much velocity, I should say. 2109. And now the T6B. We'll get this right where I want it to be. 2326. I was a little close to that first shot. We'll see how it's gonna pan out. Here's the 198. Here was the Black Dragon Fang and T6B. What do you guys think? Now this is 1.5 inches from the SS198. Maybe not a fair hit there because it's not 2 inches, but generally with polyethylene, usually if you're more than an inch or so, you still have good plate composition. But we've got a penetration in both accounts. Penetration there and penetration there. Now mind you, this is stuff that we're testing outside of the specifications for a level 3A plate. The level 3A plus really has no defined terms by NAJ standards. We did stop the SS198 LF at a faster velocity than rated here on the plate. I don't think I have any SS197 that we could throw in the PS90 to test. Do you want to see what the SS198 would do at an even higher velocity? We could test that. Alright, now we have some Elite Ammunition S4 Ultra Raptor. This is what they used to do before they started molly coating the SS195, 198 LF bullet. This is pretty much what you're going to see velocity wise out of a PS90 SBR out of 198, but out of the 5-inch barrel. Make sure I get a good sight picture here. Velocity 2464. While we're at it, we might as well try the Mythical Sb 193. This is a 62 grain full metal jacket subsonic round. We'll test this out of the 5.7. Should shoot pretty low, so I'll aim high. If not, I have a couple extra rounds to test. Velocity 1019, and it shot about 4 inches low. Alright, every time I say I don't want to shoot next to something, I do. There's the S4M Ultra Raptor. Sorry about my hands being really bright in the photo. The sun's out in a weird angle. There we go. Here was our SB 193. Really low, like 5 inches low. What do you think? This is that Mythical Unicorn. 55 grain, or 62 grain in this case, full metal jacket, subsonic as you saw off there. Can it penetrate a polyethylene rigid plate? The answer to that question is yes, it can. It's all the way down there in the back of my 3.5 inches of clay. Impressive enough though, our S4 Ultra Raptor was stopped right there. Nice dimple there, but no pass through. That's pretty darn good. As far as back face goes, my clay is close to the NIJs, but I can't keep my clay at a specified temperature out here in the open, and their clay block is huge. But we're looking right around 17 millimeters, which is more than passing. 44 millimeters is the allowed max. Now, should we try the S4 Ultra Raptor out of the PS90 SBR? I have a feeling it's going to stop it, mainly just because of how the OTM on the 195, 198 is designed, is that the copper jacket pushes back mushrooms over and then usually pukes out the aluminum core. Alright, it wouldn't be a pistol armor test without some pistol ammunition. This is L7A1. This is some Czech steel core, mild. And then this is the M39B that has the thick steel nose on it. We'll shoot these out of the 7.72 inch CZ Scorpion Evo 3. Hopefully we can shoot something other than the same spots that I always shoot. So up first is the L7A1. 1393. Now the Czech steel core. 1443. And then now the Swedish M39B. $13.59. Here was the L7A1, far enough away from other threats. Here was the Czech steel core, and then the M39B. What do you guys think? Uh-oh. Pass through there, and a pass through there. The Czech steel core is actually in the wood back there. Don't know where the M39B is, somewhere in there. Got a hole there, and a hole there. Now, this is not surprising. Again, I test things outside of threat ratings. Sometimes not so common, but at the same time, that M39B and that Czech steel core were surplus at one time. I wonder how this will do against some 55 grain full metal jacket at about maybe 2,500 feet per second. Let's set up and test it. Alright, now this is where we get even more interesting. We know that polyethylene plates are really good at stopping high velocity threats, not so good at stopping things of harder composition such as the steel tip M855, or on the pistol threats the SS190, or some of that really exotic copper moving fast speeds with pointy tips. But we've seen some level 3A pluses from other manufacturers stop M193. So we'll start with some Aguila 223 Remington. This is 55 grain full metal jacket. Going around 2,500 feet per second, we'll put a shot pretty much dead center of the plate below where we've been hitting. We have a 10.5 inch upper. We'll see what that's going to do. If needed, I do have some other M193 or 55 grain full metal jacket and longer barrels with me. This ought to get interesting. Velocity 2469. Our shot was right there. What do you guys think? Uh-oh. There's a hole there. Quite a big hole. Now, that was well outside of the realm of a level 3A. Like I said, I've tested other 3As to stop M183, but they are a thicker plate. So I was curious, and that's why I used the SBR. Maybe we should have gone to the 7.5 inch, but, you know, curiosity killed the cat, so that's why we tested it. There you have it. This plate stopped SS198 LF and the S4 Ultra Raptor out of the 5.7. No doubt if I threw them in the PS90 SBR that they'd be stopped too. Couldn't stop the SB193 or the M193 or our mythical copper rounds, but those are outside the purview of NIJ standards, and those are just more of my curiosity from testing armor, trying to figure out what the limits of polyethylene is. I was really hoping that this would stop M193, but it didn't. But like I said, that was kind of an unknown there. Maybe I should have brought the 7.5 inch barrel. Now I do have some good spots left on the panel, 2 inches from these other shots. If you'd like to see something tested against this, always drop a comment below. I won't get rid of this plate quite yet. I'd like to thank you all for watching, my Patreon supporters and veterans manufacturing. Until next time, catch you at the range.